All right, friends, we are on week 3 of my $20 grocery challenge, pantry cleanup, freezer clean out, whatever you want to call it. And tonight we are going to have some creamy lemon garlic Parmesan shrimp. So I have a bag of pre-cooked shrimp, thawed and ready to go. First thing we're going to do is get the sauce going, and then while it's cooking, we'll go ahead and pull those tails off the shrimp because you guys know I don't like to mess with those tails. So this recipe looks amazing and it sounds delicious, so we're going to get started. We're going to start by melting some butter in our skillets. We need 2 tablespoons of butter. Joe is actually mowing right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cook this, and I'll just keep it warm until he comes in and we can eat dinner. Bring you in where you can see what's going on. So I've got the butter, and once this is melted, we're going to add a tablespoon of flour to make our roux. And we're just going to stir this all together, and we're going to let this cook a minute or so. So I also got some garlic out of the freezer so that we can get it minced. The recipe calls for 4 to 5 garlic cloves. I don't know how many I got out. More than 4 or 5. Maybe 6 or 7. Maybe a couple more. Oop. As soon as this gets soft enough that I can get it, there we go, get it minced into here, we'll get all of it going. And I'm going to take this off the heat while I get these other things. It doesn't burn. We need lemon juice and cream. We're going to do a tablespoon of lemon juice. It also calls for the zest of 1 lemon, but I don't have any whole lemons, so I don't have that. And then we need a cup of heavy cream. And that's probably just about what I've got left in here. I'm going to turn the heat down on this so that it doesn't thicken up too quickly. Use this little vinyl whisk to kind of start whisking that roux into the cream. Okay, we also want to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning and let this keep cooking. I am going to remove this from the heat for just a little bit so I can get the shrimp ready, because that cooked up a lot faster than I thought it was going to. So I'm going to go ahead and dump my shrimp in here, start pulling off the tails, and then we're going to add this back to our sauce. And this is not taking really hardly any time at all. If I'd had the shrimp ready, this would probably be maybe a 15-minute process for the whole thing. All right, we'll give this all a rinse. Kind of make sure I've got all the tails. Oh, there's one. We're going to go ahead and add our shrimp into our sauce. Oh my gosh, this looks really, really good. And we haven't even added our cheese yet, so. Now the instructions say to cook this for about 5 minutes, and that assumes that you're using raw shrimp. My shrimp is already cooked, so really all I need to do is make sure that it's heated through. It's pretty thick, so I did go ahead and add just a little more lemon juice, maybe another tablespoon. And I am going to go ahead and add a little salt and pepper while this is heating up. Not too much salt, but I am going to give it a good amount of pepper. And that wasn't nearly as much as it looked like, so I'll try to do a little more pepper. We'll just do it like this. There we go. And then we want to add our Parmesan cheese. So the recipe calls for a half a cup of freshly grated. I don't have any freshly grated, so I'm just going to use some of this grated in the jar with the green lid. You guys know what I'm talking about. And we're going to guess at a half a cup. That's probably more than a half a cup. I'm going to stir that in. We're going to let that cheese start melting. While that's melting, I'm going to grab some parsley. So we need about a tablespoon of parsley. I'm going to stir that all in. This would probably be really good if you put all this together. You could add other types of seafood, crab meat or lobster, or even just regular white fish cut into pieces, and put it in a casserole dish, put some extra cheese on top and bake it. That would be fabulous. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let that heat up because it's not hot yet. We're going to give it a few more minutes, and then that's it. It'll be ready to eat. While that continues heating, I am going to chop up some of the lettuce that we have. Hopefully it's not getting slimy. Let's see. Ooh. Alright, this one's got some slimy pieces. Let's see. Oh no. We're going to give it to the chickens. We do have a little bit of sliminess on the ends of this one, but I can cut around that. I don't know what else I have to go into this, so we might just be having a plain lettuce salad, which I'm perfectly fine with. But we do need to get the rest of this salad eaten in the, like, tomorrow, or it's gonna all be slimy like the end. So I have a red pepper that's kind of on its last legs, but I think I can get some of it to work out okay for this salad. Still tastes good. It's just a little soft, not like a firm pepper would be, but I will still eat it. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There was a tomato in there, but it was drippy, so it was definitely time to get rid of it. So I'm gonna put some of these mozzarella pearls in here. Gotta get these used up. You can use the rest of these up with tomorrow when we do another salad to use up the rest of that lettuce. Go ahead and just mix this all up. All right, here we go with that. So go ahead and put some salad on my plate. The shrimp is kind of It thinned out, I guess, as I added the cheese, which is not what I expected. I expected it to be thicker with the cheese, and it doesn't seem to be, but whatever, that's fine. I'm gonna put just a little bit of my dressing that I really like on this. Not a lot. And there we go. Simple, very quick, and I'm sure it's delicious. I'm gonna try a little bit of this sauce. Ooh, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't know why I haven't tried this before. Yummy. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow or the next day when we do our next meal. Okay friends, so I did spend some of this week's I spent most of this week's 20 actually. So I got 2 packages of riced cauliflower. I got a head of lettuce and 2 tomatoes. I got a package of cheese and I got some more cream. The cream was the most expensive part, but I was totally out. So I spent, let's see, $17.82. So I'll put this in my envelope. But I've got a couple of meals coming up. So tonight we're going to make some Keto Big Mac smash burgers, which just reminds me I need to go get the hamburger out to thaw. But I needed the lettuce and tomato, and we were out of sliced cheese. I want to make some Chinese inspired dishes, and so I wanted something to be my rice. So I got a couple of bags of this. So that seems like very little food for almost 20 bucks. But as I said, this was like, I think this was $5.67 all by itself. But this will keep for quite a while. I won't use it all up immediately. The lettuce will last us a little while. The tomatoes will get used up. And then whatever leftover cheese we have, Joe can use for his lunches. So I'm going to get all this stuff put away. And so everything's put away. So I'll be back in a little while to start our dinner. It's only about 10:30 in the morning right now, so it's going to be several hours. But that was, I just want to show you guys what I bought and how ridiculously expensive food is. So this, of course, is part of why I've massively expanded my garden from our old house. Now, part of that is that we didn't have room to have a bigger garden, but also because I don't want to pay these prices for things at the grocery store that I can grow myself. Lettuce, tomato. I hope my cauliflower does well this year, so that I don't have to buy a bunch of, store-bought cauliflower or riced cauliflower or whatever. So we'll see how it goes. If I have to buy that through the winter, that's fine. So I'm going to go stick this in my envelope with my change from today's purchases, and I'll be back when it's time to start dinner. Okay, for dinner tonight, I am making Keto Big Mac smash burgers. So these look really good. We're gonna give them a try. And I don't have all the exact ingredients, but some of those things I bought earlier today, as I showed you guys. But where's the recipe? But I don't have, the tortillas that I have are not quite what this calls for, but they will work. Shoo. Okay. So this is going to make 8 burgers. The recipe calls for street taco size. All I have are these regular, what are these? 8-inch tortillas. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is going to make 7 because that's what I have. Actually, that's not true. I do have 8. I can use. So these were the Mission Carb Balance tortillas. These are just a Great Value brand low carb, or yeah, low carb tortilla, but they're essentially the same thing. So I'll do this so that we've got 8. So what we're going to do is, I've got 2 1-pound packages. So the reason this is going to work, these are just going to be bigger than the recipe calls for. So each one of these will essentially be like 2 of this recipe because everything is going to be twice the size. So we're going to divide this meat into each of these 1-pound packages into 4 pieces. So I'm going to cook on this griddle. Oh, whoops. I already did something wrong. So we're not going to separate out this meat yet. We need garlic powder and salt and pepper. A half a teaspoon. And what we want to do is just mix this all together with our hands, and then we'll separate it into our 8 pieces. That definitely smells better. So we'll go ahead and portion this out now into what will end up being our 8 patties. It's not nearly as even now, but that's okay. All right, before we start cooking this, so we're going to go ahead and put our sauce together. Let's see. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. I'm going to slide this griddle out of the way so I can... Okay. We're going to use about a cup of mayo, if I have a, oh wait, no, 2/3 of a cup of mayo. There we go, that makes more sense. And is closer to what I actually have. I hope I have some more downstairs because I never bought any. 1 tablespoon of finely chopped dill pickles. And actually we need 2 tablespoons. I forgot I was doubling this. So we need 2 tablespoons of chopped dill pickle. There's about a tablespoon. Or more maybe. So we're going to add a tablespoon of just regular yellow mustard. 2 tablespoons of sugar-free ketchup. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of onion powder and a half a teaspoon of paprika. Here's our paprika. And the last thing we need in here is half a teaspoon of vinegar. It doesn't specify, so I'm just using regular white vinegar. And we're just going to mix all of the sauce mixed together, and we'll have it ready once our burgers are ready to come off of the griddle. It smells good. I don't usually eat Big Macs, so I don't know if it smells like a Big Mac, but it sounded good, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so what we want to do is take our tortilla and we're going to spread our meat so that it is covering the tortilla. So it's going to make it pretty thin, and that's what we want, because it's not going to take very long to cook. I did leave a little bit of an edge there. So then we're just going to take this and we're going to put it ground beef side down on our griddle, except I didn't want it right there. Well, I guess I'll finish this one here. So we're going to go ahead and smash this down like this as it's cooking. And we're going to let it cook about 3 or 4 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start putting these others together. One, and then that one will probably be ready to flip over, and then I can get it in the right place so I can cook more of them at one time than just a single one right smack in the middle. This tortilla here is a little bit bigger than the others. It's kind of wonky looking, so I may not get the meat as far to the edge on this one. Oh, maybe I am. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and flip that one over. I think I can get 3 on here at a time. Ooh, sort of. Okay. While these are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and shred up some lettuce. And we want our tortillas to get crispy on the other side. So we do want to let that cook until it's pretty crispy. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of this sauce on the top. We're going to put a little bit of lettuce. And we're going to put a couple of dill pickles. If I can get a hold of it. So there's one. Oh my gosh, they're going to be big. Which, that's okay. All right, so go ahead and get one over here cooking. We'll get cheese on these two. These tortillas are a little big. Even with double the meat, it's not really staying on the edges like it should, but that's okay. It will still be good. All right, yours are done. Do you want to come and give these a taste? I didn't have any of the right size tortillas, so they're bigger.
Oh,
I know. What a shame, huh?
yeah. No hot there.
Are they good?
Yep.
Almost touched it with my hand like a daily. Alright, I'm going to try and give mine a try now if I can eat it without burning myself.
They're hot.
Ooh. That was good. Oh my goodness. Mmm. Okay, so I'm going to fold these over, but I forgot the sauce on it. I'm going to put the sauce on it and fold it over, but I'm not going to put the lettuce or pickles on. There is one over here with lettuce and pickles for you. Put it up here. Okay, there we go. It's really smoky in the house now. Smash that down. All right, so let me turn this griddle off. We'll let it get cooled so I can wipe it down. I do have a little bit of this Big Mac sauce left. So I'm just going to put it in this bowl. So I made 3 for Joe and 2 for me. And then the other 3, I put the sauce on them and the cheese, but I did not put the lettuce or the pickles. And so we can have leftovers, like maybe I'll take one to work tomorrow and I'll just take the lettuce and pickles in a little baggie or something with me and I can add it to them. But these look completely amazing. They taste completely amazing. This was totally worth smoking up my house for. So we're gonna go ahead and finish our dinner and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is the last day of week 3 of my $20 a week grocery challenge. Tonight for dinner, I'm using this keto orange chicken recipe as inspiration. It won't be keto like this recipe because I don't have everything that this recipe calls for. So she actually uses ground pork rinds to help make some of her breading. I don't have pork rinds. If I did, my husband wouldn't let me grind them up and put them on chicken, let me tell you. So I'm gonna follow this recipe, but I'm gonna have to make some modifications that are gonna make it not be keto anymore. And that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and go with it. So first thing I'm gonna do is get my chicken all cut up. I have 2 pieces of breast meat here that I got out this morning to thaw. And what I'm gonna do is cut it up in bite-sized pieces. So I'm cutting them 1 inch-ish. So this is some chicken that I bought a while back that I pounded flat and then froze, wrapped in parchment paper inside a freezer or inside a Ziploc baggie, and then that way I was able to just pull out however many pieces that I needed for a given meal, or you know, if we had other people here, I could pull out more than the 2 pieces for myself and my husband. We're about out of it though, so I am very sad because this definitely won't be on my budget to buy more of this chicken. All right, so we want 2 whole eggs. So the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, which that's about what this is. So we're gonna break 2 eggs in our bowl and we're gonna beat them up a little bit. And then we're going to pour them over our eggs. And we're just going to toss this around so that all of our chicken gets coated. We might not have needed 2 whole eggs. So this recipe is set up like a shake and bake recipe. So we're going to put our breading in here. 1/4 cup of almond flour, and I'm just gonna eyeball this. You guys know that's kind of how I roll. Oh, that's probably more than I needed, but that's all right. And then I'm gonna use the rest of these panko breadcrumbs. So the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of ground pork rinds. That was the rest of that container. This does not call for any salt and pepper. I'm going to add some. Probably doesn't call for it because it uses the pork rinds, which are already salty, but I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper to my breading. So as I said, this recipe really is inspiration. I will link it in the description box so you can see exactly what should have been done, so you can see, you know, what my thought process was as I was going through this. gonna kind of mix this up. And then before I go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and start some rice. I'm gonna make just regular rice for my husband, and I have that riced cauliflower that I bought that I'm going to use to make my own rice. So I'm just gonna put a cup of rice and a cup of water in my rice cooker and get it started. Alright, so let's get the lid on this, get that going. For mine, I'm going to use about half this bag. I'm going to add just a little bit of water, maybe half a tablespoon or so, and then I'm going to put it in the microwave and let it start cooking just a little bit. Okay, since that rice is going to take about a half hour or so, I should have started it before I started everything else. We're going to go ahead and put our sauce mixture together. So in our bowl, we're going to add a half a cup of chicken broth. And then the rest of the, well, not the rest of it, but some of the rest of this I can use when I'm cooking my rice. And then we want to use about a quarter of a cup of orange juice. Calls for orange zest, which I don't have oranges, so I'm not going to have orange zest. Sugar-free honey, which I do have. Okay, well this is frustrating. I literally just opened the sugar-free honey on Sunday. I mean it's a little tiny container, but I only used a few tablespoons and I don't know where my container's at. Of course, if I showed you the inside of that cabinet, you would understand why. So I guess I'm gonna use just regular honey, and hopefully this is not too thick to come out. Okay, my honey is a little bit thick, so I've got it in some hot water here so that I can pour that out. So we'll move on. We need 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. This calls for a tablespoon of monk fruit allulose sweetener. I'm going to use Splenda because that's what I have. This was 1 tablespoon. See if we can get our honey to pour now. Oops. We need 2 tablespoons of this. Garlic, ginger, and sesame oil. We want 2 teaspoons of ginger. I love the smell of ginger. And half a teaspoon of sesame oil. This also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. I don't have any of that. I don't even really know what it is or what it's for. But since I don't have any, we're not going to use it. And I'm sure this will be delicious. This might actually, oh, it calls for liquid aminos too, which I think I have. Let's get our garlic in here. If you don't have liquid aminos, you can always use soy sauce. That's really what this is to replace. And we want 3 tablespoons of this. 1, 2, 3. So now we're just going to whisk this all together. Yeah, the xanthan gum must be a thickening agent. We're going to take our chicken now, we're going to put it in this bag. I'm gonna get something different. We're gonna put it all in our bag with our breading, and we're just gonna do the shake and bake. Make sure all this is coated. And we're just going to shake our chicken up in this breading mix. I want to try and make sure that all of it gets breading. Our rice is getting close, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the chicken now. I didn't want to start it too soon. Actually use some of the garlic infused oil too. We're going to get that nice and hot, and then we're going to put our chicken in there and let it fry up. My rice is going in just a little saucepan with a little bit of this chicken stock. So I've got a plate here with some paper towels on it, and we're going to go ahead and just start putting our chicken. We want to make sure that we don't crowd it in here. So we'll cook it in a couple of batches. Okay, I'm going to get these out because once all of the chicken is cooked, we are going to put our sauce in here and we'll add it back in, and if it's not quite done, it will finish cooking in our sauce. And it is still hot, so it'll keep cooking for a few minutes just on its own. Okay, so let's go ahead now. We'll get the rest of our bag of chicken in here. Go ahead and spread it all out a little bit. All right, all the chicken's done, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this breading out of here that's fried up. And then we're going to get rid of most of this oil. And we're going to add our sauce in here and get it cooking down. So I'm going to whisk this sauce in here. We're going to let it cook. Ow. We're going to let it cook just a minute to thicken up, which is not taking very long. I did add cornstarch as my thickening agent. Now we're going to put our chicken back in. We're going to stir it up in here, and we're just going to let it cook for just a minute. We'll make sure we get our orange sauce all over everything. Okay, I'm going to turn this down to low and just let it cook for a minute. Make sure we get all that sauce in there. Alright, I'm going to turn this off now. It is nice and sticky. Oh my gosh. Woo, hot. Okay, Joe is actually on his way home, so that'll be perfect timing. He can make his when he gets home. I'm going to go ahead and put mine together and we'll give it a taste. I do have a little container of the chicken that I can take to work with me tomorrow for lunch. But right now, I'm gonna give this, a taste when it's not blistering hot. Let's see. That is delicious. And if you've never tried riced cauliflower before, particularly when you eat it in something like this, you really can't tell the difference. It doesn't taste like cauliflower to me. It tastes like rice. So, all right. Okay, so we are at the end of week 3. That was our last meal. I will go ahead and link the recipes for anything that I didn't just make up in the description box. You guys can give them a try if you'd like. As I said, this one was more, it was inspiration. I didn't follow it exactly, obviously, but it's delicious. And substituting cauliflower rice for regular rice, I think, will make a big difference in terms of sugar, carb overload. So I'm going to go ahead and eat my dinner. Joe can make up his bowl when he gets home. And just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.